Ladies and gentlemen, we've done a number of stories from a lot of places, but one state in particular continues to stick out in my mind that we continue to keep talking about, which is Ohio. And some of the most heinous stories have actually come out of Ohio. A lot of them I've actually done out of a place called Cuyahoga County, which has an incredibly ridiculous record for the level of abuse and murder that goes on with children, the way that they're handled in CPS, and the type of justice that we get for baby murderers. Okay? And I believe that they have to step up and do better. This story nonetheless comes out of Ohio, and a mother of all people. I know a lot of us love our mothers and we just think that our mothers are infallible, that can do no wrong. I know a lot of people believe that you've heard mothers say that if it's good for me, it's good for you and all of that stuff. But we also have a lot of good mothers out there, and this just is not one of them. This is not one. This idiot has been accused of killing her own 6-year-old boy by dragging him behind a speeding car. I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to give you guys some details that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. It's going to be very difficult to listen to. So if you cannot handle it, I understand if you need to exit the video. But for everybody else that does want to hear what this baby had to go through at the hands of his own mother and her boyfriend, here are the details. This woman has been arrested for dragging her own son behind a speeding car. And we recently did a story about an individual, a male, who stole a car and a teenage girl tried to get out of the car and she was dragged to her death. I mean, that has just got to be one of the worst type of death that could happen. But not only did that happen, but I want y'all to hear the rest of this. Then the mother dumped her own son's body in the Ohio River before falsely claiming that her son went missing. Isn't that something? These two individuals that y'all see on my screen right there, that woman literally looks like, I don't know what she looks like. It's really hard to describe what she looks like. Let me see if I can get her face back up on the screen. Gross. Absolutely gross. I don't mean no disrespect to her son, and shout out to his name, to that little boy. But his mother, oh my goodness. This woman literally looks like she was like somebody grabbed her by the top of her head and pulled her out of the ground somewhere. Like, just a ridiculous looking individual. But let's move on. This little boy that y'all see on my screen right here, his name is James Robert Hutchison, and this little boy was reported missing by his mother on Sunday morning. And many people actually came out to come search for him because people hear something like that and they're like, you know what? We want to make a difference. We want to try to help. What can we do? We can go look, right? So shout out to the people that actually went to go look for this little boy. And also shout out to the people in California who continue to look for Orrin and Orson out there in California, right? There are a lot of people out there that when it comes time to find these babies, they go out and look. And sometimes they're successful and sometimes they're not. Investigators questioned the child's mother. Let me go ahead and get Carrot Top's retarded sister back up here. Let me see. Right here. Her name is 29-year-old Brittany Gosney, a.k.a. Carrot Top's retarded sister. And her boyfriend, let me see if I can get old Bubba boyfriend up on the screen right about here. Let me see if I can get him on the screen. Country bumpkin looking ass, raggedy ass, meth face looking. Let me have another beer ass looking face. That individual's name is 42-year-old James Hamilton, whatever. 42 years old. This dude is 42 years old. Why does this fool look like he could literally be Burt Reynolds' daddy? Huh? That boy look every bit of 82 years old. Anyway, Burke said that the couple actually confessed out of their mouths. They confessed that the little boy James right there had been killed a few days earlier in Preble County. Then they brought him back to Middleton, where the family lives, and then they dumped this baby's body into a river. Gosney was charged with murder, and both Gosney and Hamilton were charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. Court documents that were released on Monday allege that Gosney had taken her son to Rush Run Park in Preble County with the intention of leaving him there. That baby. This baby that didn't ask to come into this world. This baby who was at the mercy of a mother who didn't give a crap about him, which is also why I have on this shirt. And I'm not sure how well you guys can see this shirt. This shirt actually says hashtag babies for benefits. This shirt is a hashtag of our show. And that means that these type of people, this mother and so many others, and it's not all, but this mother had this kid only for the benefits that she could get off of this kid. That's the only reason she had him, so she could take advantage of some man, take advantage of our court systems, take advantage of food stamps, Section 8, housing, all of that type of stuff. That's the only reason she had this kid. She didn't love this kid. She didn't bring this kid into this world to have a legacy. She hated this little boy. But instead of giving up custody to the biological father, and I'm sure the biological father would have gladly taken custody of this kid. We could have used contraceptives. There's so much stuff we could have done to not bring this baby into this world and do this to him. He didn't deserve that. He seems like a really sweet, nice, young kid. Very typical 6-year-old kid. And there is absolutely nothing this baby did to deserve that. According to the police, the mother took him to a park, and this, I'm going to try to mind my mouth because I tend to cuss a lot. The mother drove him to a park with the intention of dumping him at the park and leaving him there alive. This little boy was scared, and what he did was, as the mother tried to drive away, the child grabbed onto the car in an attempt to climb back inside the car. According to police, the mother of 4 children, and yes, that red-haired bride had 4 children. According to the police, the mother of 4 children ran away, dragging her son at a high rate of speed. Gosney returned to the park 30 to 40 minutes later and found James lying in the middle of the parking lot with injuries to his head. She said the child had died. Gosney then placed his body in the car, drove to the family's home in Middletown, and stored his body in an upstairs bedroom. And we're talking about an individual who gave birth to this boy, to that baby. The following day, Gosney and her boyfriend allegedly took the boy's body and dumped it into the river. Police are working with trained searchers to find the child's body. The river is very high and treacherous, so we will not be disclosing the exact locations in hopes of avoiding another tragic incident, Burke said in a press release. Now, during their arraignments on Monday, a judge set Gosney's bond at $1 million on the murder charge and Hamilton's at $105,000 on the abuse of a corpse and evidence tampering charges. During her hearing, the mother, Gosney, was crying. This bitch was crying. Can y'all believe that? This so-called mother had the nerve, the unmitigated gall, shout out to Stephen A. Smith, to cry in front of the judge, and she complained that she did not understand the legal proceedings because she has a learning disability. But I know one disability she don't have: making kids. She ain't that damn disabled. If she was that disabled, why would they allow her to keep making kids? Both suspects are due back in court March the 8th, which is 6 days from now. Investigators offer no motives or details for the boy's killing. Burke also said that 2 other children have been removed from the couple's home. Posts from Gosney's multiple Facebook accounts indicates that she has 4 children. That nasty, filthy animal right there. She looks like a pig with red hair on top of it. She has 2 daughters and 2 sons. Gosney described herself on social media as a full-time mommy. In other words, a lazy bitch who ain't got a job, who lays on her back the majority of the time trying to collect benefits off of people, whom she referred to as her husband and her everything. That's how she referred to her boyfriend. But like I said, it's sad when these type of individuals care more about their own sexual pleasures, their own personal pleasures, than they do their children, who can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves against the tyranny of their caretakers. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me let you guys listen to the news videos, because we had about maybe 5 of them. Here we go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And we begin with breaking news and a tragic ending to report to you tonight in the search for James Hutchinson. That's the missing 6-year-old boy in Middletown. Just a half hour ago, police confirming that the boy's mother and her boyfriend admit that little boy was killed. Tonight, 29-year-old Brittany Gosney is charged with murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. 42-year-old James Hamilton is charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. Police say Gosney and Hamilton told them that James was killed in Preble County just a few days ago, that they then brought his body back to Middletown and dumped it in the Ohio River. Police are still searching that river to find James's body. According to police, 2 other children who live with the couple have been removed from the home. No word on how the 6-year-old was murdered or when that couple will appear in court. Of course, Local 12 will continue to cover every development on this story on air and online at local12.com.
He was really funny. Like, he just brought joy to everybody. He always loved to give hugs to people and everything. Like, he was a great kid.
Lewis Hutchinson is still grappling with saying James Hutchinson's name in the past tense. The boy's father says 6-year-old James was his world. Search crews are still looking for the boy's body after investigators say his mother, Brittany Gosney, killed him. Then, along with her boyfriend, James Hamilton, threw him in the Ohio River.
I'm going to replay this video. I want y'all to hear this. We ask, where's the biological father? The biological father of this boy is right here. And I want y'all to listen at how this man clearly loves his kid. And instead of this so-called mother just giving him custody because she didn't want the kid anymore, she'd rather murder the kid rather than give the dad a chance. What kind of sick crap is that? That's selfish on the mother's part. She made a conscious decision. She don't suffer no mental illness. She made a conscious decision to do that to that boy. Why not just give him to the dad? I don't understand why these individuals, these so-called mothers, do stuff like this. You will allow anybody to be around your kids except for the person who provided you the seed to create the kids, which gave you all of the benefits in the first place. Don't y'all find that a little bit weird? I want y'all to listen at how this father is suffering behind losing his son, when the mom, if she didn't want to have him, she could have just gave this little boy to his dad.
He was really funny. Like, he just brought joy to everybody. Everybody. He always loved to give hugs to people and everything. Like, he was a great kid.
Lewis Hutchinson is still grappling with saying James Hutchinson's name in the past tense. The boy's father says 6-year-old James was his world. Search crews are still looking for the boy's body after investigators say his mother, Brittany Gosney, killed him. Then, along with her boyfriend, James Hamilton, threw him in the Ohio River.
I don't know how somebody could be a monster and do that to a 6-year-old. And his own mother at that. When I was fighting to get him, she could have just gave him to me.
More than 100 community members came to Garner Park.
Okay, I'm a rewind that. I want y'all to listen to that again. He said she did all of that instead of just giving him to me. Let me rewind that. I want y'all to hear that again. She did all of that instead of just doing the simple thing and just being selfish. Thank you. Thank y'all for saying that. Let's listen again.
Boyfriend James Hamilton threw him in the Ohio River.
I don't know how somebody could be a monster and do that to a 6-year-old. And his own mother at that. When I was fighting to get him, she could have just gave him to me.
He was fighting to get his own son. Can somebody please in the chat that are listening right now, can somebody please explain to me, why is it that whatever it is that the man doesn't want to do, you want to do? When the man doesn't want to do, you want to force him to do it. I don't understand the mentality why certain women, and it's not all women, because I know I have a lot of great, honest, supportive women in my chat. These women in my chat, and shout out to my brothers, but let me give a shout out to our ladies in the chat, because these are great mothers, these are great parents, these are great aunts, these are great grandmothers, these are great societal, individual people in my chat. Great, awesome people in my chat. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with these type of people. Why is it that these bad women, the bad seeds, will turn around and do whatever they can to hurt the man? He don't want to be in the kid's life? Well, you need to be in his life. I'm going to harass you for the rest of your life. He wants to be in the kid's life. Well, you don't pay enough in child support. You don't do enough to be in this kid's life. They want these men out here to literally drive themselves crazy to go in the opposite direction of whatever it is that this woman want to do. That's ridiculous. I just don't think you can have that much hate in your heart. Why? Like, we're all grown people. You don't have to have children. Nobody's forcing you to have kids. So if you accept the seed of a man, because no man can do with a woman what a woman would not allow that man to do, why accept his seed? Why accept someone to walk into your house, your humble abode, your temple, and abuse your temple? You don't have to. You legally don't have to. You physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you don't have to allow a man to do a motherfucking thing. But you do it anyway. It just seems like it's too many of these type of mothers, these type of people that love this type of bull crap. And for the life of me, I don't understand it. I don't think it can be fixed. These type of people's mentality, I don't think can be fixed. I just think we need to get rid of them. Matter of fact, to the fellas, y'all need to be a little more responsible about what y'all procreation, because y'all the ones carry the seed. Stop sleeping with bitches like this. And that includes me. That includes me. Because I fall under that category my damn self. But that's part of being responsible, is realizing when you're doing something wrong and taking accountability for your own actions. So just as well as I'm speaking to these brothers, I speak to myself, as well as I'm speaking to these mothers. They understand that it ain't all. Let's go. Let's go.
Somebody could be a monster and do that to a 6-year-old. And his own mother at that. When I was fighting to get him, she could have just gave him to me.
More than 100 community members came to Garner Park in Middletown to honor the little boy whose smile captured hearts.
I think it's affected everybody.
And to support a family overwhelmed with grief.
I don't know them. I don't know any of them, and it was important for us to be here tonight because they need to know that they're not alone.
Jessica Watts drove a half hour to the candlelight vigil and balloon release because
I'm a mom and I just want her to know.
A lesson she needs her 4-year-old daughter Harper to know.
Not everybody gets the same kind of love and treatment that she does. Not everybody has good home lives.
Grief counselors will spend the week at Rosa Parks Elementary, where James was in the 1st grade.
James was a joyful soul who was loved at school, and he loved school. What I can tell you is here in Middletown City School District, we miss him already.
And Superintendent Siles says the district will honor James with another memorial vigil tomorrow night at 6:45 at Barnett Stadium. Anyone is welcome to attend. We're live tonight in Middletown. Jatera McGee, WLWT News 5.
Jatera, I know we're going to be at tomorrow's vigil. Do we know who organized the one tonight?
Yeah, Sheree, we actually talked with that woman. She lives here. She posted on Facebook, and it just took off from there. She's a mom herself, and a lot of the people I talked with tonight are moms who said they just had to do something.
Yeah, it is such a helpless feeling otherwise. Jatera McGee reporting live for us tonight. Thank you.
He gave him to me. I don't even know how to process all this.
Now at 11, a mother charged with murder and a father filled with grief tonight. We're hearing from the father of 6-year-old James Hutchinson for the first time tonight. Thank you for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Craig McKee.
And I'm Tanya O'Rourke. A community is mourning the death of the Middletown boy who police say was killed by his mother. They say she has confessed she discarded his body in the Ohio River. WCPO 9 News reporter Kristen Swilley spoke to those who came together tonight to honor his memory.
About 100 people gathered here in Middletown's Gardner Park to remember the life of 6-year-old James Hutchinson, who his own father described as one of the kindest kids you would ever meet.
He always loved to give hugs to people and everything. Like, he was a great kid.
Lewis Hutchinson is only beginning to process his son's death. He says he will never understand how anyone could have hurt him.
I don't see how an animal could do that. That's not a person in my eyes.
Middletown police say his mother, Brittany Gossi, admitted she tried to abandon the 1st grader in a park, dragging him with her car as she drove away.
And she tried to abandon this boy when she could have abandoned him at the dad's house. So I want y'all to think about how messed up her mentality is and how selfish she is. And by the way, we need to stop doing balloon releases. Candles are enough. Thank y'all for calling that out. Blow bubbles instead of balloons. But the mother could have so-called abandoned this kid at the biological father's house, which the dad would have gladly have taken the son. But why didn't she? If she was going to abandon him anywhere, why didn't she abandon him at his daddy's house? Oh, that's right. Because she didn't want to see her son grow up and become something great. She didn't want to see her son get love and attention and respect. A selfish loser.
She says she came back 30 minutes later to find him dead, took his body home, and later discarded it in the Ohio River in Lawrenceburg. Her boyfriend, James Hamilton, is charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence.
I want them both to rot. That's what I want.
At the end of the day, you know, a child looks for comfort in his mom. Your mom's supposed to be your superhero.
Melody Vasquez says she organized this vigil to remember James and show that children in danger are not alone.
I'm tired of seeing all these rest in peace signs for these kids. There has to be something we can do.
Hutchinson says while it's too late to save his son, he's holding out hope the case will change things for others.
I want justice for him. That's what I want.
Gosney and Hamilton are both being held on bond at the Middletown City Jail. In Middletown, Kristen Swilley, WCPO 9 News.
This case began happened when James was reported missing on Sunday. Brittany Gosney's 2 other children, by the way, have been taken away from her. James was a student at Rosa Parks Elementary. His principal describes him as a joyful student who loved school. That school will be offering grief counselors for students to talk to. It is also holding a celebration of life tomorrow evening at Barnett Stadium.
Town 6-year-old previously reported missing is now reported as dead. Police say James Hutchinson's mother put his body into the Ohio River. WCPO 9 News reporter Jasmine Miner joins us live this morning from Middletown Police Headquarters with what we know about this so far. Jasmine?
Well, good morning, Julie. Pretty gruesome details here. I can't lie to you guys. I mean, police say that James Hutchinson's mother and her boyfriend came forward Sunday night to police admitting they had brought James's body back to their home before throwing him into the Ohio River. Police say that Brittany Gosney, James Hutchinson's mother, and her boyfriend, James Hamilton, told police the 6-year-old was killed in Preble County days ago. Middletown police say they plan to search the river for the boy's body, but they're not disclosing where they will search because the river is currently high and treacherous. Gosney has been arrested and charged with murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. Hamilton also arrested and is charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. Well, police say there were 2 other children in the home, and both of those children have since been removed. I'm reporting live in Middletown.
The search for the body of a 6-year-old Middletown boy has stopped for the week. The recovery team says the Ohio River water level is too high and dangerous to carry on. We told you last hour, police say the boy's mother admitted to killing this little boy and putting his body into the river. WCPO 9 News reporter Courtney Francisco is live at the Middletown Police Station. Courtney, this case spans across county and state lines.
That's right, Tanya. Police say.
All right, we only got a couple more videos left here. Like I said, if you guys would bear with us, I'm going to go ahead and try to let most of these videos play, and then I'll give y'all my thoughts after that, okay? So let's keep going.
The little boy lived here in Middletown, Ohio. They say his mother killed him in Preble County, Ohio, about 15 miles from here, and tried to hide his body in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, in the Ohio River. That's about an hour from here. The timeline of this crime begins Friday. Police say the mother tried to abandon her 3 children, ages 6, 7, and 8, at Rush Run Park in Preble County. 6-year-old James Hutchison tried to get back into the car, and his mother sped off, dragging his body. Investigators say she returned 30 to 40 minutes later and drove his lifeless body back to their home in Middletown. The next day, police say she and her boyfriend, James Hamilton, drove to Indiana and tossed his body into the Ohio River. There's a memorial outside the little boy's home right now where people are putting up balloons and toys. The child went to Rosa Parks Elementary School, and we learned a little bit about him from the superintendent today.
Every single day, he would come running towards the front doors of the school building with a giant smile on his face, and he gave the biggest, and as they said, the bestest hugs you've ever imagined. That was James on a daily basis. You know, oftentimes in education, we have incentives to reward students for making their dreams come true and reaching their goals. One recent incentive at Rosa Parks Elementary, we found James in the cafeteria with a big smile on his face because he was rewarded with the lucky lunch tray. And that was important to him. And the staff just shared how joyful he was to be able to receive the lucky lunch tray.
His mother is Brittany Gosney. She's in the jail here with a $1 million bond. Her boyfriend has a $105,000 bond here. Coming up at 6, hear from strangers who are holding a vigil in this boy's honor. Reporting live in Middletown, Courtney Francisco, WCPO 9 News.
James Hutchinson, a 6-year-old who family members say gave the best hugs and cheek kisses. A first grader at Rosa Parks Elementary School whose joyful spirit brightened the classroom. Middletown police say James died over the weekend at the hands of his mother, 29-year-old Brittany Gosney.
The mother is not showing much remorse at this time. She has confessed to doing this.
Investigators say Gosney and her boyfriend James Hamilton went to the police department yesterday to report James missing. That was the first red flag. They showed up instead of calling 911. Police say they later learned Gosney intended on abandoning James and his 2 siblings at Rush Run Park in Preble County.
I won't keep pausing it too much, But I want to say, again, think about that. Instead of the mom abandoning her son at the dad's house or just giving up custody, this is what she decided to do to their kid. So listen at this.
When James was out of the car in this lot, court documents state he attempted to get back in. Ghazni took off and dragged her son. Police say Ghazni told them she returned 30 to 40 minutes later and James was dead. She placed his body in the car.
She took the other two back with James, and they responded back to the residence.
Back to their home on Crawford Street in Middletown. Police say Ghazni put his body in a bedroom upstairs.
Sometime Saturday night, Saturday evening, when the other kids fell asleep, that's when they responded to 275 by Lawrenceburg, and that's when they disposed of James in the Ohio River.
Police say Hamilton helped Ghazni throw James' body over the 275 bridge into the river. Today in court,
I have a learning disability, so I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Ghazni said she didn't fully understand her rights. Investigators say she understands right from wrong.
And Ghazni's bond was set at $1 million today, Hamilton's $100,000. And I know one question so many people in this community want answered is why? Why did this happen? Why did this mother even want to abandon her children? But at this point, police say they don't know. Reporting live in Middletown tonight, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
Karen, thank you.
Police in New Middletown, Ohio, are searching part of the Ohio River for the body of a 6-year-old boy. Today, his mother and her boyfriend were both charged in connection with his death. James Hutchinson was reported first missing on Sunday, but when police questioned his mom, she said the child died a few days earlier. Investigators say they don't know exactly what happened to the boy because the suspects are sharing different stories. Brittany Ghostney appeared in court on a number of charges, including murder. James Russell Hamilton is charged with tampering of evidence and abuse of a corpse.
A 6-year-old little boy from the southwest part of Ohio is dead. His mother and her boyfriend, police say, confessed to dumping his little body into the Ohio River, and that's where search and rescue teams are still looking for him.
Today was a rough day for Middletown first responders. Digital anchor Christy.
All right, this is the last news video, and then I'm going to give you guys my closing thoughts, and we might actually have some additional information. There's a friend of mine in the chat, and shout out to Ginger, who said that possibly that the mother might have made plans to murder her other children. Think about that for a moment. Here's the last news video.
A 6-year-old little boy from the southwest part of Ohio is dead. His mother and her boyfriend, police say, confessed to dumping his little body into the Ohio River, and that's where search and rescue teams are still looking for him.
Today was a rough day for Middletown first responders. Digital anchor Christine Varconi joining us now from the NBC4i Streaming Center. Taking a look at some of the biggest stories trending across the state today. Hello, Christine.
Hey, good afternoon, Brad and Darlene. A $1 million bond has been set for that mother accused of killing her 6-year-old son and then dumping him into the Ohio River. Brittany Ghostney was arraigned just a few hours ago in Middletown. Police say James Hutchinson was reported missing by his mother, Brittany, yesterday when she walked into the police station. But when questioned, police say she and her boyfriend said the child was actually killed in Preble County a few days prior. Court documents say she told police she took James to Rush Run Park and was going to leave him there. The boy attempted to get back into the car, and the mother drove off at a high rate of speed, dragging him.
It's an unfortunate situation all around for all the officers, dispatchers working. It's really hit Middletown extremely hard along with Preble County.
James was a wonderful student. He was a fun-loving kid. Earlier today, when we were at Rosa Parks Elementary, we heard someone talking about how when James arrived to school every single day, he would come running towards the front doors of the school building with a giant smile on his face, and he gave the biggest, and as they said, the bestest hugs you've ever imagined. That was James on a daily basis.
Just really sad there. Right now, police say they are working with trained searchers in an attempt to recover this little boy's body, but the river is very high and very dangerous right now. The boyfriend, James Hamilton, received a $100,000 bond for tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. Here's a look at that story on NBC4i.com right now. There's a timeline of when everything took place, according to the investigators in both counties, as well as background on the various interactions this mother has had with CPS in the past. Gosney, the mother, has two older children, a boy and a girl, who police say were with them when James was killed. Police say they are grateful those two children are...
Okay, that report right there, if y'all listen, because I missed this also. Right here, this news reporter said that the other kids were with them. God bless their souls, man. Listen to this again. I'm going to let y'all listen to the end of this. It's only about 20 seconds long. She said the other kids were there who witnessed this.
His mother has had with CPS in the past. Gosney, the mother, has two older children, a boy and a girl, who police say were with them when James was killed. Police say they are grateful those two children are safe right now and they are with Children's Services. You can read more about this on NBC4i.com. Brad and Darlene. Yeah.
That one's hard. Christine, thank you.
Let me go ahead and give you guys my closing thoughts about this. This little boy is just at the mercy of just a terrible mother. And I don't really know how in society we can fix it to where we give the biological father of these children more of an opportunity to be fathers. I think that is our God-given right, not something we have to beg the mothers for, okay? I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. If a father wants to be a father, he should be allowed and he should be able to demand his right to be a father. If a father does not want to be a father, he should not be forced to be a father if he does not want to. We have to start having more accountability on both sides between moms and dads, grown consensual adults, when we're having sex and procreating. That's something that's been going on since the beginning of time. And it seems like throughout the course of history, we've done better coming together as mom and dad than we are where we are in 2021. We did better in the 1900s than we are in 2020 and 2021 when it comes to being respectful to the other parent, doing what's best by the children. It's never been perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There was absolutely no reason that that mother should have had thoughts of what she did, acting on those actions, and then trying to abandon the kid. Like that, to me, shows a large level of intent, which I think is going to earn her a capital murder charge, because that's premeditated. I want y'all to think about that. What she did was premeditated. She had all the options in the world and made every other choice besides positive options for this kid. Could have abandoned him with the dad, and the dad would have gladly have taken his son. While he's out fighting in court to try to get custody of his son, mom's boyfriend gets to be around these kids all day long and ain't got to do a damn thing. He don't have to live up to a standard. All he has to do is just make that woman happy. And when we continue to keep living like this, just because our society has allowed us to live a certain way and make these type of bad decisions and put this type of punishment on a man, on a dad, doesn't mean that we should take that option. It's just like with, shout out to my brother Dre the Dream, who put out there and said generational Section 8. Just because it is an option that we can do, because it's something we can continue to pass down from family to generation, don't mean that we should. We are doing nothing more than harming ourselves, and we have to do better. I feel so bad for the biological father, And I want him to know that we pray for him. But what's even more important is the fact that we have 2 other children, maybe 3 other children that are still alive. And I'm not sure that that man is actually the dad to those kids. So now you have to wonder, so who was the biological father of the other kids? Because it don't sound like it was that dude James Hamilton over there, mom's boyfriend. He just tried to help her cover up her bull crap, which he deserves life in prison for. So one would have to wonder, where of the other biological fathers of the other kids? Let me see if I can pull your email up. We are live right now, but I think I might be able to pull up your email. And let me see what you sent me. We got a timeline here. Y'all bear with me just a moment. Ghazni tells police that her boyfriend, Hamilton, was pressuring her to get rid of her children. Investigators believe it was her intention to leave all 3 of the children in that park. Brittany stated she had planned to get the kids out of the vehicle and to leave them behind, as Hamilton had been pressuring her to get rid of the kids. When doing this, 6-year-old Hutchison grabbed onto the door handle. Brittany slammed the gas to try to leave the kids and drug Hutchison, possibly running him over, according to the police report. The report goes on to say that the mother, Ghazni, went back to check on the children in the car with James' body and returned to their home on Crawford Street in Hamilton. Police said that she put her son's body in a spare bedroom upstairs. I don't even want to read any more of that. I don't even want to read any more of that. That is horrible. Like I said, I think that whatever she gets, the boyfriend ought to get half of that. So if she gets the death penalty, then I think that they should halfway give him the death penalty. If they give her 100 years, he should get 50 of them just for participating. I'm not so sure that I believe the part where they're talking about that he pressured her. I think that she good and well knew what she wanted to do, because just as well as she was so-called pressured, and I want y'all to also remember that this is the same woman who said that she doesn't understand the court process. She said that she's not smart enough to understand the court process. She's smart enough to lie, and she's smart enough to fabricate some bullcraps to manipulate the court. Therefore, makes it even further plausible the fact that she planned this out. That's premeditated. That deserves a death sentence. We got to end this cycle, and we definitely got to end people like this and get them out of our society, and we got to start protecting our children. And again, prayer hands up to the dad, to those other kids. I hope that they are able to find their biological father and be able to grow up and become something great, and I hope they get protected. Okay? But thank you guys so much for listening to these very difficult stories with an open mind and an open heart. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming through and sharing this story with us. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, which is the AFC Podcast, the Advocates for Children. From my heart to yours, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to this stream. To that little boy, R.I.P., young man, R.I.P.